Doubles and coffee. You know, a country could never progress when your media is so warped, so poisoned, so biased, so ridiculous that they would encourage discussion and discourse no matter how asinine it is. You know, there was an unfortunate incident. People in this country do not even have all the exact facts and witness statements at a double stand in Kunupia, where there was an argument and a fracas, and someone was being stabbed, and a prison officer had his licensed firearm, and while being stabbed, he drew it and tried to protect himself and his family, and unfortunately, a stray bullet or a bad shot hit someone that he loved, and the poor lady eventually passed away. Condolences to her and her family. And then the mass media, the PNM fake news media, along with the desperate, disgusting, nasty, unpatriotic, dotish Amory Brown and the PNM started throwing stand your ground legislation. No connection whatsoever. Of course, there are always inherent risks with the utilization of a firearm, even when you're most trained, even when you're most skilled. Who can remember about 2 or 3 years ago, one of the best, most skillful police officers who trained every week, hours and hours, the quickest on the draw, tactically proficient, brilliant, where he made a decision to fire at a man who was wielding a weapon, robbing 4 of them in a bar, and he hit the man, but the man, the bandit, the monster, while falling, squeezed off a shot, and it hit the officer in his kidney and he died. History is replete with examples of situations like this. A gun is not a toy, it's a dangerous thing. But to link an incident, an unfortunate incident, with a prison officer trying to defend himself and his family while being stabbed and harassed and bullied, to stand your ground legislation is not only ludicrous, it's basically insane. Stand your ground legislation is very specific. If you go to the consultations, it's about you protecting your home, not driving around with gun all over the place. It's about having a licensed firearm to protect you and your family within the boundaries of your home that you're living in, your sanctity, your castle, where your family is, where bandits and monsters, once they jump that wall, they know they will be met with fire. So a discussion about firearms in general and practice and FUL and carry licenses is a totally different discussion and discourse. So to be carrying on and talking about and the Express asking people, do you think the stand your ground legislation will create a situation where more innocent people are dead and shooting all over the place? Based on an unfortunate incident that the media did not even investigate and give us all the specific facts, but immediately want to go down a political direction to pretend like the PNM have some sort of efficacy or some sort of consciousness in this country. The PNM, every time they're in government, the crime situation escalates. People become unsafe. And it got worse in this 9.5 years of the PNM, where bandits felt, monsters felt that them could come in people's house and do human beings, family members, what they want. Kamla Prasad Visesa, while dealing with the crime situation holistically, while getting our vessels back up that were left broken down and our borders were unprotected, while trying to fix those vessels, get diesel with them, get some helicopters up in the air, some drones, some technical situation. Don't worry with my pan. Pan falling, pan go beat, pan is love. While Kamla Prasad Visesa and her ministers and her cabinet are attacking the crime scourge from all directions, from opportunities, from cleaning up programs, from ensuring that money is utilized for sustainable jobs for our young people, creating police, the service, and putting a commissioner of police substantive, bringing legislation, consultation, and protecting people in their homes with stand your ground legislation, which is under consultation to come to protect you. Kamala Prasad Bisasa understands that a home invasion is something separate, disparate, and more painful to human beings. Could you imagine, as a man, your number one function is to protect those you love, to protect your wife and your family and your children, and monsters armed with guns coming into your place that you work hard for, that you pay the mortgage, or that you built chirrup, you bought bricks, steel, mortar, and build up your property, pay for your fence line, and just out of the blue, arrogant, dictatorial, bullying, nasty, disgusting monsters who feel that they're bad because they have an illegal weapon, jump over your wall, running into your house, getting into your bedroom and your kitchen, and tying up and beating and battering and raping and killing your children, your wife, your mother, your grandmother. Kamala Prasad Bisasa understands that the damage done by that, even in situations when no bodily harm, no grievous bodily harm actually occurs, the psychological effects of a man and family feeling so belittled, so bullied, so powerless in his own home is debilitating. Stand your ground legislation is about protecting your home, in your home, not by a double start, not by the pharmacy, not by a grocery, not everybody going to get a gun to walk around all over the place like wildness. Furthermore, there is serious training and responsibility with a firearm, and these things are being discussed and put in the legislation. The discipline, the psychological metrics, the ability, it's a diminishing skill that you have to know how to shoot, when to draw, if to shoot. Sometimes you will see police officers and those who are well trained give up everything and hand over even though they have a licensed firearm, because the crowd, the situation, the family members, the position that they're in, it doesn't make sense shooting. Because sometimes when you shoot, most times the person does not die instantaneously unless you are a crack shot and you hit them exactly where you want in the head. Most times you have to shoot en masse at the big mass and so on, and people, bandits, monsters, don't immediately die. They're not extinguished immediately, so they could always get off. So sometimes you have to think, you have to train when to shoot, if to just give up. These are decisions that are made in a split second. That's outside there for FUL carriers. Stand your ground legislation requires a different type of training also. Protecting your family, keeping the gun safe, locking it up, making sure your children don't get to it. There are risks with firearms. But what are you talking about? If you use this situation, an argument over a parking spot, and somebody with ill intent has a knife in the car. Now, I don't know all the facts. I just reading what is printed there. And the family member, the prison officer, while in the argument, a man take out a knife and was stabbing him. So if the prison officer didn't have a gun, then everybody might be dead. Since you all want to play God and you all want to take an unfortunate incident and then try to make policy based on one unfortunate incident, which will happen, that is life, and it's rough and it's hard and decisions are terrible. But think about it in the hypothetical. If the argument was ensuing and only the miscreant with the knife had the knife, prison officer could be dead also, mother dead, friend dead, daughter dead. So how can you all come to conclusions? Because the men had to run off. They had to scamper. Suppose they went on a wild binge of killing as they tasted blood and they stab up the doubles man and everybody too and thief everything. How we know? So what's the discourse? Y'all are taking nonsense from Amory Brown and the PNM, and then the PNM fake media is trying to turn it into some sort of discussion. Stand your ground legislation is specific. Stay out of people's home. Stay out of where you don't belong. It's not yours. Don't go in there. I have the right, if you come in here, to light you up. Because my daughter in here, and I have to protect my daughter. That's my first duty as a father. That's what stand your ground legislation is. Within your property, within your boundaries. So the discussion is so puerile, so pedantic, so nonsensical, that it's deleterious to democracy to have a fourth estate that is so beholden to one political party that they're corrupt and disgusting, and they push an agenda that makes no sense. So people understand that unfortunate incident. Condolences to the family and friends of that lovely lady. Condolences and sadness and empathy going out to the prison officer who tried to protect his family and ended up hurting them unintentionally. The discourse and that situation has absolutely no connection whatsoever with stand your ground legislation. And any human being who attempts to do that, to throw that into the mix, to create some fear over a situation that is designed to give fathers, mothers, and family members the right to protect themselves in their castle, in their home, is disgusting, is dishonest, is a low caliber human being. Okay, Amory Brown, Lollipop, and to you, the mass PNM fake media, stop it. You're a laughing stock. That's why you're losing millions and millions of dollars every day. People are fed up of your stupidity.